Now, we will be holding many such events in the future.
We celebrated World Mental Health Day. That was on the 10th of October. And with that in mind, we decided to have this initiative where we have like a workshop for everybody that lives in Mapsa. And I am happy to see this small hall full with people, and I'm very happy with the response that we received for this event. It gives me joy to have, when you target an audience and the number exceeds your target, there is no better satisfaction for an organizer to feel that what they are organizing is what people require, or it is what people want, or it's what people want to understand. I do not want to speak on the topic of mental health, considering that we have experts here today that will address issues that we all face. But just how Dr. Shaheen said, mental stress is your addressing mental health is your right. It is something that you have to understand that it is your right. You have to understand that there are ways to de-stress. There are ways to address stress. And if you, like Guru Prasad said, if you enjoy what you're doing, there is absolutely no stress.
A great initiative by Joshua. I think other MLAs and politicians should take he should be driving them, and this is a fantastic idea because hardly anyone will talk about mental health. We will talk about all the other things than mental health. And as Dr. Shaheen has rightly said, it is the most important thing. I am not going to give advice because she has told a lot of things, and I'm not qualified to do so as a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist. But having said that, being in the field of disability sector for more than almost 15 years now, I come across a lot of individuals who are connected to mental health issues. सांगपाची गजाल म्हणजे म्हाका अशे लोक मेळटा दोज हू गो टू लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेस बट आर व्हेरी हॅपी एट द सेम टायम. हांव खुबश्या घरांनी भोंवता, खुबश्या लोकांक मेळटा, खुबशीं आमची भुरगीं जी चिल्ड्रन विथ स्पेशल नीड्स आसा तांच्याय घरा कडेन पावता. अशे खुबशे पेरंट म्हाका मेळटा. एग्जाम्पल दिता जाल्यार पेडणे एक फॅमिली आसा, बोथ द किड्स सन एंड डॉटर आर चिल्ड्रन विथ स्पेशल नीड्स. आनी हांव जेन्ना त्या आवयक मेळटा ती इतली केन्नाच हांवें आवयक आमी म्हणटा न्ही पिंगाता अशें जालें तशें जातलें, आपल्या कडेन हें ना तें ना, दोनूय भुरगीं आपली कांयच ना. ती बाजारान भाजी विकपाक वता, घोव तिका बरो सपोर्ट करता, अँड शी इज सो हॅपी इन द सेन्स शी हॅज एक्सेप्टेड वॉट इट इज अँड शी इज मुव्हिंग ऑन. I think acceptance is the biggest thing that we should, we normally don't do that. We don't accept things as it is. It takes time. For me, standing here and saying accept what it is very easy. But when you go through it, is very difficult, and then you accept it is the greatest challenge that individuals face. And I think the whole mental illness issues start from that time, and we don't start accepting what things are in front of us. Disability Commission, we have taken up a lot of initiatives in terms of ensuring that we reach out to maximum people across the state. And keeping that in mind, we had a major Purple Fest which was organized last year. The major Purple Fest I would like to say is, it was in It was not an event. Many people say it was an event. It was not an event. It was a great learning experience for us. A lot of experts from various parts of India who are in the field of disability or in the field of mental health, who have been working for last so many decades, came forward and made that Purple Fest successful. Though it was a government initiative, it was driven by the NGOs spread across the country, because they are the people who have gone through various things. They have seen a lot of changes, positive changes happening. I mean, I'm not saying that everything is nice everywhere. It will never be. We have to work towards it to ensure that we overcome all those challenges and move on. In disability sector, we have so many issues in the state of Goa, everywhere. But we have, moving towards it, we are trying to find solutions. I was just talking to doctor before the start of the program. There are so many issues faced by the parents. Elizabeth is here representing parents. Alex is here. They know what the challenge that they face. Huge issues regarding certification, disability certification. And you can't blame anyone because there is no qualified human resource available. Joshua, we don't get a clinical psychologist. Ads are there. If you give an ad for LDC, UDC, there will be thousands coming to your place. But if you give an ad for a clinical psychologist, a government post, there are no takers. And then the blame comes on the system. Disability certification is taking a lot of time. But government is also trying to cope up with all these challenges because of the various sensitization programs and the awareness that has happened. A lot of parents are coming forward. There is detection which is happening at the early stage. Early intervention centers are operational now in both the districts, one in North Goa, one in South Goa, which was not there earlier. And having said that, this is not the only requirement. We need to go to the interiors. We normally we have these seminars in the cities. I'm happy that it is hosted by the Honorable MLA of Mapsa, but it should also be done in the interiors of the state. There are various issues which sometimes we don't reach out to those who are in the villages and far off places, and they are also not aware of the facilities which are available in the state sometimes.
27-year-old person with autism. Many of you all may or may not know autism, but I will just brief you on what autism is. Autism is a developmental disorder. It's a spectrum disorder. So basically, they have three areas of difficulties in communication, socialization, and sensory issues. And it's a spectrum. So when I am speaking about my child, I am speaking only about my child. It may not be the experience of other parents, it may not be the experience of other developmental disabilities, but we all come under the same umbrella of stress and what we go through. So my own son was born, he was winning healthy baby contests, so doctors were seeing him, but there was no sign. And this is about 27 years ago when autism was not well known. And it's only after about 4 years that there was a diagnosis that no words were there. He was verbal, but he was not making sentences. There was hyperactivity, and as most Indian homes say, boys speak late, boys are hyperactive, and yet nobody could diagnose there was something wrong. It was more like a speech disorder and a developmental delay. But during the course of time, I realized it is classical autism. And as a diagnosis at that time, I personally had not even heard the word autism, being an educated, so-called educated person in society. And that diagnosis came to me not as a shock, because I myself went to a pediatrician, and that time Dr. Nandita was just starting, who is now the director of Setu. So for me, it didn't come as a shock, but for most parents, it is a shock. Why me? There's a guilt feeling. There is a lot of stigma with disabilities in the society. You can be of any class, the lower middle class, the lower class, middle class, upper class. In fact, it is more in the upper class. The stigma in the society of having a child with disability is so strong that most of our children are still kept hidden.